Hi, everybody. My name is Kimberly Dismuke, and I am the Senior Director of Adult Education and Workforce for the Chicago Center for Arts and Technology. And I have here today Alona Sanders, who is our Health Information Technology instructor. Alona, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Kim, and you?
I am great. Awesome. Tell me a little bit about yourself and your years at Chicat, and congratulations on your 5th year at Chicat.
Thank you. I've been at Chicat now for 5 years, teaching in the Health Information Technology program. I teach medical billing and coding, and the certification organization that we work towards is AAPC, and that's the Certified Professional Coders certification. And we basically center around medical billing and coding again.
Oh, okay. So you've been at Chicat for 5 years. Tell me a little bit more about that experience for you.
When I came to Chicat, there were no classes started at the time, so I started there before the classes started, and it's been an interesting experience. I've taught in vocational education for the past 20 years. I've also taught coders with hospital organizations and revenue cycle management companies. And it's been interesting to get back to teaching people that either want to change their careers or have never done this before. So it's been exciting. There have been some challenges. Sometimes students come in, they're not quite sure of what this is. Sometimes they come in and they're changing careers. Sometimes they come in, they haven't been in school for a while. So there's been different challenges, but we've been able to work with them and support them and into reaching their goal.
Oh, that is wonderful. Tell me what kind of teaching style you have for those of us out here who we don't know you. We have not sat in your class. What kind of teaching styles do you have?
I prefer with adults to use more of a hybrid teaching style, and that's in order to engage the different types of learners we have, and also people who have never or who haven't been in school for a long time, or maybe who have not been at the post-high school level. So a hybrid teaching style allows me to look at the ways that they learn and to incorporate and engage the students in their different learning styles.
Okay. And what are some of the books that you use? I've seen you all carry at least 4 or 5 books at one time.
Yeah, it was hard. I meant to lug those in today, but we use what's called an Icd-10 Manual. So all diagnoses in the United States are based on a system called Icd-10, which is the International Classification of Disease. That's the 10th revision in the United States now. And that's a very large book, as you can imagine, because it contains all the diagnoses codes. Also, they use what is, in my class, what is called the CPT code manual, which is the current procedural terminology manual, and it's published by the American Medical Association, which is headquartered here in Chicago, and we're proud of them. But that manual contains all of the professional procedure codes that physicians, surgeons, anesthesiologists, who else can I think of? Physical therapists, just professional caregivers utilize. We also use what's called the HCPCS procedural book. That's another one. So you're right, there are about 4 or 5 of them. And in this manual, we're looking at durable medical equipment. So there's codes for your eyeglasses.
Okay.
People don't think about that. Also, hearing aids, when grandma needs the walker, those things. So there are codes for that, and our students learn how to use those codes and when to use those codes.
Okay, that is wonderful.
And wait, I meant to tell you, and that's just, when we talk about books, I want them to know what they're in for. So
I do understand.
That's just the coding portion, but when we talk about the medical terminology, anatomy and physiology, we also have another book for that. And then our students also get, I think you all talked in another episode that we had here with our recruiter, Trudy, our soft skills. So all of our students are required to do their Microsoft Office. So there's another book, which is why we have these great lockers in our school, right?
That is exactly right, for all the books and things that we use. So a student walks in and they're enrolled in the class, they're excited and they see all these books and it's a change for them and they don't want to do it. How do you convince them that this is the right career path for them at this particular time?
I tell them that's what this is. This is a path. I think a lot of people, when we think about that we have to feed ourselves, or if we get people wanting to come into programs such as this where they're 6 months, 9 months, they're thinking of something fast, usually because they're trying to support themselves. But I want them to also be aware that the careers that we have in the classes that we're given at Chicat were based on a person having a path. So that's what I try to tell them. Going into the administrative side of healthcare, there are many areas that we end up. Okay. So having a knowledge of anatomy, having a knowledge of medical terminology, having a knowledge of coding, or having a knowledge of billing and the revenue cycle can lead you into many different careers. There are many different places that people work in healthcare that, we look at maybe Chicago Med or something exciting on TV and we only think about the healthcare clinician.
Yeah, okay.
But there are many administrative jobs and there's somebody that has to get the money, and that's what billers and coders and people in that area do.
All right. Tell me about some of the barriers that you run into with students who just scared. What do they want you to do? I know we do a lot of nurturing at Chicat because we're asking people to give us 9 months of their life, and to buy into our world. And so when they don't want to buy into our world, how do you help them transition?
I actually show them, and we talk about different life events that they've already survived. So I think a lot of times when they're afraid, they don't understand that those same skills that they've used in their survival, that they can use in school to be successful. Sometimes I think it's a matter of maybe some students having failed before and feeling that again. So I talk about the things that they've survived and how they've utilized their own common sense and their own skills to survive life is the same way that they can survive class. Some of the barriers have been the fact that, we are a 9-month program, and a lot of times that's difficult for a student not to work because this program, especially the healthcare, is very accelerated, and there's a lot of reading and a lot to go over. So it takes a lot of time away, and it's hard to work at the same time. We have students that do it, some it's more of a challenge. So we do a lot of nurturing, but I think that's one of the biggest barriers is, them working and attending school. Sometimes it's children and attending school. We've always helped them with childcare in terms of locating childcare and in terms of finding programs that help with payment for childcare. Transportation. So there's a lot of different life issues that pop up, and we step in, when we know what's going on. They have to be, we try to leave ourselves open. Of course, you have to come to us, talk to us. All of our staff in adult ed have always been open since day one. That has been one of the things that we thought made us unique in this field, is that you can talk to any of the staff and we're open to helping with any of those barriers that you find or situations that a student may find themselves in order to complete. Once we know what's going on, we're there.
Okay, so a student is with you all for 9 months, graduated, you all have found, looking for jobs for them, the minimum salary for this position is what?
We're talking somewhere around 40 to 41 as a minimum.
Okay.
And again, this is a path. So as soon as you get your foot in the door, whether it be in the billing component or let's say revenue cycle area, let's say coding area, there's different types of coding even when you get in. Once you get in and you find that niche or that niche for yourself, you make yourself known to your manager or supervisor about what you want to do. It's movement, great movement. if you want to call back, talk to us, talk about what may be a next route while you're out there working. We're always there for that type of support. But that's one thing about our programs. And I know we were very intentional, and in the beginning at Chicat, was that we were offering classes that don't just offer a job, because I always call that just over broke.
That is correct.
But that we're offering a path, something that can lead into something else.
Yeah, that is correct. Chicat is still a new, organization, and we are partnered with as many partners. What has been your experience with some of the partners like Advocate, Rush, and University of Chicago that have been more open to allowing our students to do their internships? What's that experience like for a student?
We've had several with our internships. University of Chicago was a great one when we started, but COVID kind of stepped in on that. And that one was, because it was new for them and for us, there were a lot of things, a lot of hoops we had to jump through at the time when we started with them. We know that in healthcare, one of the biggest things with vocational schools and healthcare, sometimes we meet up with hospitals that want them to have, of course now you're going to have your vaccination if you go into their buildings. But at that time it was, whether or not you had a physical, things like that. So we had those types of challenges. It's always depending on the organization itself. But Advocate was very open with a lot of HR information for us, which I think was really good for our students, and the soft skills, teaching them about behavioral interviews, those types of things. So having that different look from those different organizations has been a huge help for us for insight, and also for our students.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That is great. That's great. So you mentioned COVID. How has COVID impacted your class?
You know what? It's been interesting. I think it's been good for Chicat in a sense. Now, we had talked very early on about hybrid classes, what that would look in order to allow us to serve more people. Because, we're not the biggest building. We have a beautiful building, but we're not the largest. Having to be forced online made us jump into seeing what that looks like.
Okay.
So it affected us there. When it first happened, we went home. We didn't know what was going to happen. Just luckily for me, I'd already been doing this as far as teaching online. I taught for many revenue cycle companies where our coders were all over the country. Coding is a lot of remote positions in coding and administration. So I was able to go online quickly. But I think as an organization, it showed us what we can do and the numbers of people that we can serve when we're hybrid. So along with our in-person classes. It was a challenge to our students in terms of they may have gotten sick, their children may have gotten sick, but then it was just another opportunity for us to talk to them about getting over the hump of life issues or adversities. So while it was challenging, I think it was also, I don't know, as John Lewis would say, a good trouble. I think we were in a good trouble because there were some good learning points that came about with this.
That is correct. Like you said, our classes we do have small size classes, but our classes are tailored and focused in our syllabus. Talk to me about the syllabus. How do you get your student? I know they all get syllabus, so how do you run through your syllabus in that 9 months period and stay on track?
Well, we start off with our medical terminology and anatomy. We also go into pathology at that time. We do have a little time sometimes. One class is faster than the others. It's different classes, and so you have to make some adjustments. I just think that this last time, my particular class, I think during my class time, I had Thanksgiving, Christmas break, spring break, plus COVID.
Yeah.
So again, another challenge which made me pull out that experienced teacher hat and look at different ways of combining and giving projects and work that combined and repeated. So that they could, stay on track and things like that with all of that going on.
And with COVID, now, do you get your students now, are they being affected by COVID and they still pressing through?
Well, yeah, and a lot of that is not so much the students that don't have children, but I think right now it's the ones with children because of the daycares, the camps, things like that with COVID. It's affecting those students more because the times that they can get their kids there, or whether or not there's camps with enough classes now because they're saying they don't have enough instructors.
Exactly.
So, that has been an issue. But again, we've been kind of, taping classes for people that can't get there at a certain time. I've been taping, classes or where they can come in and listen until they can get into class. So we've been making accommodations right now as we're on the back end of the pandemic.
And I think the adjustments that Chicat makes for our adult students are just right on point with what they need, and that's part of what I mean when I said the nurturing piece.
Yeah.
Adjusting and doing the holistic piece for our students and getting them through. So that's been a great experience for me as an instructor. Also learning how to transform and tweak a syllabus to meet the needs of the students, and I think that's one of the things that Chicat does very well in that educational piece.
Yeah.
Yes, this has been great. So if a student wants to contact you and talk to you, how do they get in touch with Alona?
Well, all of us, it's our first name. I think that's all of us now in the building, right?
That is
so
correct.
It would be Alona, ALONA at chicat.org. Also, I can be reached at area code 312-733-1701. Once our receptionist picks up, you can ask for me and it can, the phone will be routed to me. But always go through our recruiter, Trudy. She is the professional on getting you in, letting you know everything that you need before you get to me. But I'm always there for you to talk to about our career paths, choices that you may have. But there's Trudy at Chicat, TRUDY at chicat.org. Also, our Senior Director of Education right here, Kimberly Dismuke, and that will be Kim or Kimberly?
Just Kim.
Just Kim. Okay.
Shorten it.
Awesome. So that'll be Kim at chicat.org. But again, I'm always there if you have any questions about the healthcare field, healthcare administration. I've been in this, and I'm going to tell the truth, I've been in this over 30 years now. So it's been over 30 years that I've been in this in different capacities. And that's why I'm just proud to say that my field is a career path. I've been on the insurance side of things as an insurance adjuster. I've also done benefits, and I've gone from there and started working for hospitals in revenue cycle and in billing, and I've moved into contracting and then into coding, where I liked it much better in coding, and then into education of coders and physicians and nurses, where I've gotten them certified also. So there's many different seats that you never see where there's money to be made. All right.
And you also have worked in several states, is that correct?
Yes. So
it's just not a Chicago thing, it's all over the
Most definitely. So I spent 9 years in Georgia, in the Atlanta area, worked for several hospitals and companies during my 9 years in Georgia, and taught at several vocational schools, taught billing and coding in the Atlanta area and right outside of Atlanta also.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Alona. You have been wonderful.
Awesome.
I really appreciate all your knowledge and information.
Thank
Thank you, Alona, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye.